Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, jestersvoice.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday. It is Friday, February the 6th, 2026. It's ominous. Feels ominous, doesn't it? Anyway, it's Friday. You've made it to the weekend. I hope your morning is going swell. What'd you have for breakfast? You guys remember? Do you guys remember all the awesome cereals back in the day when cereals were exciting? I don't know, maybe it's just being a young person. Cereals are exciting, but little things that came out like French Toast Crunch, Honeycomb. Remember the awesome commercials they used to have for those cereals? Captain Crunch Berries, Peanut Butter Crunch. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you had yourself a nice big bowl of cereal with ice cold milk. You know, my wife will eat cereal in a bowl with a spoon and no milk. She likes her cereal dry. I think she just might be a psychopath. I don't know. It's really odd, though. Let me know your thoughts on dry cereal. Go to the website, leave me an audio message at jestersvoice.com. Yeah, that'd be fun. If you guys don't know, the It's Doomsday podcast is back, so make sure you are checking out It's Doomsday podcast everywhere you are listening to your podcast. That's ITS Doomsday podcast. Lots of valuable information comes from that show. It's been a week, to say the least. It's been a fucking week, guys. It really, really has been. So update of today. Today's update is I have a load of block being delivered for the Homestead House project. So that is being delivered. If everything goes according to plan, I will be going to pick up a brand new to me skid steer for the property today. That will also be happening. And these fucking kids, man, they're on a 2-hour delay again. And I can't tell you what a wrench this throws in my gears of the day. I feel like I live my day a little bit differently than most. Okay. This is how I live my day, or how I go about my day. I take the biggest, most important, most crucial task of the day, whatever that may be, and I make everything else revolve around that task. That's how my brain works. That's how I function. Okay. So if I have to go to work, obviously your job is the biggest task of the day. So everything revolves around work. But when I'm not working and there's a task, it's like, okay, what's the biggest task of the day? Tomorrow happens to be picking up the skid steer. And the secondary task after that is this block delivery. Okay. And, in that order, and all would have been very easily achievable if these kids were not on a 2-hour delay. So yeah, that really throws a wrench in the gears. So now I'm going to have to find myself rushing around like a crazy person today and try to get the kids where they need to go and get them the other places they need to go after the fact. And, make sure I can make it out to get this machine, make sure the paperwork gets done, all that good stuff, and roll back with this machine and haul my machine that I'm trading in out there. So yesterday I kind of preemptively struck on all this, and with this weird situation that just happened with our family, and the idea of having to travel out of state, I've been meaning to take our ATV in for service, and everybody's probably like, well, Dooms, don't you do that shit yourself? The fact of the matter is, no, I don't. I don't, because I don't have a functioning garage. Like, all my tools and shit are like in sheds and storage units, and it's like everything's kind of scattered. So like working on a project is a big pain in the dick 90% of the time. When I have a garage again, you bet your ass I will not be taking many things to a mechanic ever, because I'm very mechanically inclined. But I don't like crawling around on the gravel. I don't like hunting for a tool for 20 minutes. Like, I don't like these things. I don't like taking a 5-minute project and turning it into a 5-hour project and crawling around on the gravel to make it happen. Yeah. So therefore, I take a lot of stuff in, unless it's something little. If it's like, oh, the oil needs changed. Okay. So, I usually do that, if it's a thing where it's like, I need to throw new spark plugs in the truck, like I'll do that. A lot of the times I'll do my own brakes. It's all pain in the ass doing it in the dirt and the gravel, but it's like, I know how much I'm going to pay to take it in there. But the ATV is kind of a thing because to do the stuff it needs to be done to it, it kind of needs ripped apart, broke down a little bit. And I don't have like a nice place out of the weather to rip this thing apart and places to store the parts while I'm tearing into it. So it's like, we'll let them handle it. So yesterday I dropped the ATV off at the dealer so they could do things to it in the kind of idea that I'll be traveling out of state and I won't miss it while I'm gone anyway. Right. Now, I also decided to divert and do another hour drive from the dealer while towing a trailer with a trailer full of implements and attachments for our tractor that I'm trading in, so I could get some stuff delivered out there. So I got some stuff delivered out there yesterday, so I don't have such a big, heavy trailer to tow all at one time out there. Bringing the new machine back is going to be a relatively nice, easy tow. Hopefully, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much what's happening with that. So that's going to be my day. Kids going random places, block delivery, and picking up a brand new to me skid steer. That is going to be the plan of attack for today. And then tonight, I will be live on TikTok. So come check me out on TikTok. We may start off going live on Epic Studios. If you're not following me on Epic Studios, download the app. Give me a follow on Epic Studios. It's a US-based owned app. Their headquarters is based out of Statesville, North Carolina, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Can't get enough of Jester Dooms? Check out his other show, It's Doomsday Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. That's It's Doomsday Podcast.
Back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. It's just me, you, and producer Scooter. This is a very interesting audio three-way, isn't it? If you guys could only see what producer Scooter was doing to himself in the corner over there. I think we're going to have to put him in a padded room. Anyway, the email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Guys, don't forget to give me your IRL, your 1 week in real life interaction where you tell a friend, family member, or dog about the show. Okay, and don't forget to go to the website, jestersvoice.com, for everything Doom Daily Show, Jester Dooms, It's Doomsday Podcast, social media stuff. Everything you want to know is on the website. So just go to the fucking website, man. Go to the fucking website. Go to the fucking website. Do it now. Okay. So I don't even know where to start. Because I had stories picked out for the week and, they kind of went awry with everything that was going on. So let's get into this one first, because I think everybody knows how I feel on this matter. And if you don't know how I feel on this matter, you better get yourself up to speed here. All right. Landmark 2 million trans surgery verdict marks a turning point. This is on the Epic Times by Stacey Robinson, Darlene McCormick Sanchez. Darlene McCormick Sanchez, DMS. All right. A first of its kind jury verdict against medical professionals in a suit brought against by a young woman who used to identify as a transgender is being seen as a watershed moment for other demonstrators. I'm sorry, not demonstrators, detransitioners. A detransitioner is a person who has stopped or reversed gender transition they previously started. The landmark verdict on January 30th held a surgeon and psychologist liable for malpractice and how they dealt with Fox Varian prior to her double mastectomy at the age of 16. In total, a New York jury awarded 22-year-old Virine, I don't know how you say this, V, we're just going to call him V. 22-year-old V, $1.6 million for pain and suffering, as well as $400,000 for future medical expenses. Florida Attorney General James Altmaier predicted that more lawsuits are coming. Dozens of similar lawsuits across the country are already underway, including one filed by Chloe Cole, a high-profile detransitioner in California. Cole called V's verdict a breakthrough moment. The success of this case is a huge leap for the detransitioner movement, and every doctor and clinic involved in this fad should be very afraid for what comes next, Cole told the Epic Times via text. Although the legal implications of V's case are limited, experts told the Epic Times that future cases may follow a similar pattern, with juries finding that healthcare professionals rushed clients into these procedures without due consideration. Now, the legal win. V's case goes back to September 2018 when she was suffering from psychological issues such as depression and eating disorders. She had been questioning her gender for years and informed her psychologist, Kenneth Einhorn, that she wanted to change her name from Isabel to Gabrielle or Gabe. She later switched to Rowan, then Fox. Other gender-related changes followed rapidly, including the use of he, him, or they, them pronouns, and the decision to wear a chest binder to conceal her breasts. In March 2019, she brought up the topic of breast removal, also known as top surgery. V's mother, Claire Deacon, testified in the trial at New York Supreme Court in Westchester County that she had staunchly opposed the surgery, but said Einhorn pressured her by warning that her daughter was at risk of attempting suicide without it. Now, okay, let's pause for a second there. I truly feel if a doctor is going to come to you and say you have to do this because your child's at risk of surgery, they're putting you up against a wall and you have no choice, okay? So for starters, let's think about it this way. You do nothing, your child dies, you have to live with that guilt forever, knowing that you could have done something different. And the doctors know you know that thought in your head. What if something happens? Oh, shit. Then there's the idea of what we heard preached for years now in different outlets, that not taking your child's transitioning or their transgenderism or how they prefer to be identified as a form of abuse that could have your children taken from you. So if you love somebody, you're going to do whatever you can to love that person. And that's the problem with this. Now, what should have happened is, and this would have been my opinion, is, oh, she's at risk for suicide. Well, I think that's a mental thing, not a physical thing. We're going to have her ass committed, and we're going to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. Clearly, we need a second opinion because I don't think mutilating our child is the answer to fucking suicidal thoughts and tendencies. But that's just my opinion. Now, I think that it's very fair to say, reading through that article, that this person was a little bit confused, didn't really know what they wanted, but this is also an adolescent. When I was a kid, there was many different things I wanted to be, okay? There was like many different cool names too in the era I grew up in. Like, I didn't like my name. I thought my name was boring. I wanted a cooler name like Mark or Don or like, I don't know, Bradley, like cool names of the era. I wasn't happy with my name. And I remember asking my mom when I was a kid, like, can we change my name? She's like, why? I'm like, 'cause my name's stupid. And she's like, no, we can't just change your name because you don't like it. What are you, stupid? And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'm stupid. So we all think about these different things, right? Growing up as a kid, like, you imagine what your life would be like if your name was, Charlie, or what your name would be like if it was Marty. You imagine and you pretend because you're a child. That's what you do. You pretend, right? And then also, growing up, it's like, as a child, you imagine being different things and you act out these things through fantasy and games. Like, we used to play superheroes and villains, and my one buddy would always be Superman, and then I'd be the bad guy, right? Like, that's how it worked. And also it helped he had a Superman costume. And then we'd play cops and robbers, and we'd switch that roll up, who would be the cops and who would be the robbers, right? And then also we had like another game we play where it was like Batman and Robin, and like everybody wanted to be Batman because Robin was a fucking loser, and that's how that went. But we took turns who was Batman, who was Robin. And we'd act out these like cool superhero scenarios, right? Or like, maybe some scenario was like we were these cool tactical SWAT guys and we were like going in to rescue someone from the woods, and like, jungle warfare type shit. Like that's how we fantasized and played. But, We didn't grow up and become Batman and Robin. We didn't grow up and become Superman. We didn't grow up and go work fucking SWAT in the fucking jungle somewhere. Like, we didn't do these things. I mean, I got into law enforcement stuff, but it has nothing to do with that. Okay. But what I'm saying is that, like, because a child is telling you something as an adolescent, saying, this is how I feel, it doesn't mean anything because they're an adolescent. They're not born in the wrong body, and mutilating anybody's body is not the fucking answer to anything. You know, there's a line here, okay? Like, and there's a line that I can understand, and there's some things that make sense, right? Like, if a man doesn't want to go bald and he wants to start like using shampoos and do the treatments and stuff, okay, that's one thing. You've had hair forever. You're supposed to have hair. Maybe you're a little self-conscious without it. Maybe it's just making you feel your age. Like, I get it, dude. Like, do it. Maybe you're a woman and you're like, man, I never had these lines before. You know, I'm thinking about getting a little bit of Botox. Just fucking do it. Like, if little things like that make you happy, do it. You know, I mean, piercings and tattoos are a form of body modification. I have piercings. I have tattoos, right? And I enjoy them. I enjoy getting tattooed. It's like ink therapy to me. I love it. All right. If I had shit tons of money and shit tons of time, I'd be covered in tattoos. I'd have 2 full sleeves. Everything would be covered. I'd have a full back piece by now. Like, I'd be fucking covered if I had the money and the time. Okay. As far as piercings go, it's like, nah, it's like, I like my piercings I have. I don't really want more because I think too many piercings just look trashy. And with how I like to carry myself, I like to be presentable. So when I put on a long sleeve shirt, I don't want you to see that I'm a delinquent underneath. I don't want to show, you know, if I don't want to show up in a professional setting with a fucking sleeve and a fucking lip ring hanging out and be like, yo, what's up? I'm here to do professional shit. No, it doesn't work that way. It will in the future when some of the old timers get out of the industry and the people that are more socially acceptable of this start becoming more in power and controlling bigger bank accounts, then yeah, it'll be fine. But right now, 'tis not. I think that not only it's not just the idea of this being a medical malpractice lawsuit. To me, in a term that a term that I haven't heard in a very long time, and I'm trying to remember what the term is, and I can't, I haven't heard it in so long, it's just escaping me. But there was a term they used to use for doctors that were sick and would perform unnecessary surgeries, and they were addicted to these body modification surgeries. Like, they were addicted to it. Like, they had some kind of sick psychopathy that was making them perform these abnormal surgeries. And that it was a big thing back in the day. And that has like slowly faded out and has not been talked about, these sick surgeons. But I wonder if that's what this is. And since the labeling went away, it took away the awareness, and somehow they made it, you know, acceptable. Like, what kind of doctor, like, I'm sorry, like, what kind of fucking doctor thinks it's okay to go chop up a wiener into a vajayjay and go and start hacking off nipples and then pumping patients full of hormones to grow dicks and beards and shit? And then, you know, on that note, you know, just on that note alone, I got something. It's 2026. Why do we have technology that could make a woman grow? Like, why do we have pills available and hormones available for a woman to take that'll allow her to grow a beard nicer than what I have? But you can't give a man a pill to regrow hair on his head. I'm saying something's drastically wrong with this picture, ladies and gentlemen. The time of reckoning is nigh. It's now. And we're seeing it right now in this article. And we're going to continue with that article right after this break.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. linktree.com/JesterDooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, jestersvoice.com. Let's get back into this article. The jury found Einhorn and surgeon Dr. Simon Chin liable for malpractice on multiple points, including failing to communicate about V's condition. For example, on October 2019, letter Einhorn wrote to Chin in support of V's surgery contained errors and admitted certain coexisting mental issues, such as autism and depression. They also faulted Chin for not consulting further with Einhorn, since the letter did not contain an explicit diagnosis of gender dysphoria. Chin testified that the letter outlined the diagnosis and that along with his consultations with V, it was sufficient to proceed with the surgery. The Epic Times reached out to Einhorn's attorney, Neil Kornfeld, to find out if he would appeal, but he was not ready to discuss the matter. Chin's attorney, John Bugliosi, did not return a request for comment. Attorneys and others, including V, responded to the verdict with hope that it would lead to similar outcomes in the future and future legal disputes. Cole sued Kaiser Foundation hospitals, doctors, and therapists after surgeons removed both her breasts when she was 15. Her case, filed by the nonprofit law firm Center for American Liberty and others, is headed to trial after California's third appellate district ruled last fall that it did not have to go to arbitration. Cole said doctors have a responsibility to steer children and families toward reality instead of permanent mutilation, and that their failures should have consequences. As medical professionals, they are well aware that children are developmentally incapable of making permanent decisions, especially ones that will lead to them being incapable of having their own children or full sexual function once they become adults, she said. Mark Trammell, CEO of the Center for American Liberty, said in a statement that the verdict confirms the accountability is possible and that doctors are not above the law. Josh Payne, co-founder of the Campbell Miller Payne law firm, has secured millions of dollars in settlements for clients in suits that resemble V's and has 12 cases pending. These facts and facts like them are in case after case after case after case where the client has multiple coexisting mental health issues, Payne told the Epic Times. The Themis Resource Fund, a nonprofit that funds cases such as V's, lists 23 detransitioner cases, with most having been filed between 2022 and 2024. However, many have been dismissed or settled or are still pending. In Dallas, a detransitioner who goes by the name Abigail Garcia said the lawsuit was a step in the right direction. Garcia was 19 in 2016 when he had began hormones and received breast implants to appear feminine. I would say personally, as someone who has been harmed, I am happy to hear that a fellow detransitioner has been able to sue, Garcia told the Epic Times. Both he and Cole thought the award was inadequate compensation for the injuries V suffered. Now, implications for future cases. Although opponents of such procedures accept the verdict will lead to many new cases, and it's not clear how those cases will play out, attorneys said V's verdict was specific to her case and did not create a binding legal precedent for other cases. V's attorney, Adam Deshush, noted that his client did not oppose gender-affirming care in principle, but rather the way V was treated in particular. All right, meaning this case was kind of unique, I guess. But You guys could read this full article on the Epic Times. It goes on and on. This is a very big article, and it's a very big deal. And I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal, because there's a point in time. So they're attacking our children with this, okay? And they're doing this for a couple different reasons. The reason number one is, if you don't go along with this, it's very easy for child services or family courts to say that you're dismissing your child's needs, that you're being neglectful, that you're being abusive because you're not affirming their gender, okay? And that's not okay. All right, it's fucking point blank not okay. I do not agree with transgenderism at all. I don't have a problem if somebody wants to be gay or lesbian or bi or whatever. I don't care about that, but I don't believe anybody should be modifying their fucking body. That is mentally wrong. It is not okay. And I very rarely get into debates with people about this. I usually just dismiss them because it's not worth it. Because if you already chopped your dick off, nothing I can say to you is going to convince you that your decision was wrong. Therefore, it is not worth my fucking time, and I move on. You're the one that has to live sitting peeing down forever, and it's going to click one day when you're older that this was a bad idea. I don't have to live with that. You do. So the other thing is, guys, this creates lifelong care for patients. And that's a lot of the reason, I think, a lot of the motivation behind of why these doctors want to push this is because it gives them lifetime patience. You have to keep going back for the hormones. You have to keep going back for the care. You have to keep going through with further modification. You have to keep doing all the things. And for those of you that don't know, this isn't like a recent or new problem. This has been something that's been going on for like 30 plus years. Okay, it's not new. All right. It's new because it's making headlines and it's now affecting kids. That's what it is. And that's not okay. They attack the youth because the youth are easy to manipulate. You know, you put somebody on a pedestal that's a transgender, you put them in Hollywood, you do this, you do that, you talk about it, you make it affirming, you make it okay. And then what you do is you make your family the enemy. Hollywood accepts it. TV accepts it. The people I look up to on social media accept it, but my parents do not. My family does not. My dad hates me for these decisions. My mom can't look at me. My brother and sister won't invite me over for Christmas anymore. They don't want me around their kids. Isn't this a great way to destroy the nuclear family? Isn't it fantastic? The whole time we were talking about this, did you know that's where I was going with that? Because that's actually what it is. How do we separate families? How do we break up a happy home? How do we displace children? How do we make them hate their parents? I got an idea. It's genius. Tell them they're in their wrong body. When their parents don't accept it, we'll make them the bad people. Then we'll be in control of these kids. Do you ever wonder, because I think about this shit all the time, do you ever wonder the kind of sick minds that sit around in a room thinking this shit up? Because they're out there doing it. That's the problem. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope the snow's over for you wherever you're at. And guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening. Producer Scooter and I will greatly appreciate it. And we'll be back on Monday with another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. Have a great day, everybody. Check me out later live on TikTok and Epic Studios. Have a great day, everybody.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.